Welcome, chiropractors, to the Monday edition of Coffee with Dr. Scott. Happy to have you on here for the first day at the new time, 9:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time. I said standard earlier, but it's still Central Daylight Time. If you missed the show earlier at my normal time, if you're one of those viewers who usually watches on the replay, we are changing the time of Coffee with Dr. Scott, which means I got to change my coffee ideas. Talk about that in a second. We've always been at 7 a.m. Most of my viewers were watching on the replay, which I completely understand. I lost my feed. But because of my kids' school and everything going on there, we decided to go at, still doing that too, at 9:30. Just again, based on what I have to do with my kids in school, they're starting a little earlier. We're going to try something new. We're going at 9:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time every day of the week right here on the personal page. And we got some really cool stuff coming up for you. But what I did just realize just now, as you can see, my coffee's empty. So if I'm still going to call this Coffee with Dr. Scott, I've got to change my coffee routines. I think most people think that because I wear shirts like this and I do a coffee show that I just drink coffee all day long. It's not the case. I make about a cup and a half, a glass and a half, maybe 2 glasses every day. And I'm usually done by now. So if I'm going to do a 9:30 show, I might have to push my coffee consumption back a little bit. Or change the name. We'll get to that. We'll figure it out. This is all new territory. Again, we're just now changing the time and all that. So we'll figure it out as we go. 9:30 a.m. seems where we're going. And again, we're kind of going back to some old models here. We're going to be talking about motivation. Motivation is such a hot topic for everyone. So we're bringing back Monday Motivation with Dr. Scott. We did it for quite a while, a couple seasons ago. So every Monday morning, we'll give you some motivation. We're going to give you some motivation. We're going to cover that topic of motivation. So today, I'll be talking about a few things. One of the biggest keys to that elusive feeling of motivation is what we're going to give you. We're going to give you one of my practice growth tips that I use with my clients. And then we're also going to talk about where I'm heading out next on my tour. So that's what's going on today. I'm psyched you're here joining me. I see Mark joining me. See, I knew the East Coast would get a better feel here at 9:30. I'm sure you're between patients, so you won't be here long, Mark, but good to see you. Nathan, Justin, see, again, a few of my old viewers who I know haven't been able to see me in a while because of the 7 a.m. time. Hopefully this 9:30 a.m. time will work out well for you. Now, you might know if you've been around ChiroLaunch or Coffee with Dr. Scott long enough that I'm a little bit of a music guy, and the fact that I like. It's funny with me. I listen to music. I typically don't hear a lot of it just because I'm focused. But when I'm working out or things of that nature, I don't listen to much in the car. But I like talking about music. I like other people talking about music. I like people telling me what's good out there because I don't listen to the radio at all. It's always controlled music. But I like to have playlists. I like to have themes to my music. I was just out in Oregon with my daughter, and we invited one of my buddies who's just a huge music guy to make us an Oregon playlist. It was kind of shallow. There wasn't a whole bunch on there just because there's not a bunch of songs about Oregon. But I'm always trying to get music that fits where I am. So here's the time for you to get interactive with me this morning. Let me know what was the last song you listened to. So just put the last song you listened to in the comments down below. I didn't listen to music at all yet today. Yesterday, probably the last song I heard, I was listening to Body Like a Back Road, the country song, radio while I was smoking yesterday. Not smoking, smoking meat for a barbecue. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Body Like a Back Road, which is a great song, especially that live version of it. Anyways, let me know. Taryn says she's listening to Cardi B. I like it. This early in the morning, we're on Cardi B. Anyways, put your the last song you listen to in the comments down below. And I also want to know where you're watching from out there. So drop me this. If you're watching right now, put what state you're from so I know where all I'm reaching today. Because again, this change of time, I feel like we're going to be catching more mountain and West Coast people, and hopefully the East Coast will be between patients. So let me know what state you're in if you're watching right now, or if you're watching on the replay. You're still watching right now, to you. So put what state you're watching from in the comments down below. All right. So again, today is the first day we're kicking it back over to the personal page as well. But the Dr. Scott Dorrity page is not dead. All the big shows, all the announcements, all the challenges, all that great stuff is still going to be going on over on the business page. My tour information, everything you really need to get your practice launching and growing. Again, this personal page is designed to be a little bit more laid back, sipping coffee with Dr. Scott, just talking about practice growth, motivation, finances. We've got a few other cool topics coming up as well. So it's going to be more tidbits. When we do a really programmed series, we'll do that over on the business page. So make sure that you're following the page. Make sure you're subscribing to get announcements. I'll have the staff drop the link in the comments here in a few minutes so that you can subscribe. And again, we don't ever overpower you with that stuff. Just maybe a message every week letting you know what's going on. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you really need to do that if you want all the announcements and you want to get the promotions before everyone else does. All right, let's talk about motivation. I think everybody wants to feel motivated, right? You want to be motivated. The problem most people face is that they don't feel motivated all the time. And it's that whole inertia thing, getting motivated to start and then you lose it and then you got to get started again. So how about you? Is that the case for you? If so, hit that thumbs up button. Do you feel motivated all the time? If you do, I'd love to hear from you because that's pretty awesome. And I'd love to have you on the show here. The truth is that motivation, like any other feeling, isn't just an automatic thing. No one that I know of is motivated 24/7. And I've been around some of the people that are on stage and who you would think are, and I've seen them in very non-motivated states. So I know that no one's motivated 24/7. And just sitting around wishing that you'll magically feel motivated, that's not going to do it. So here's the key. Achievement breeds motivation. The more success you achieve, the more little victories you have, the more motivated you feel to keep going. I know it's kind of like the chicken and the egg thing, which comes first, right? Do you feel motivated and then you have success? Or once you achieve some successes, do you then feel motivated? Well, let me tell you, we're not here to debate that today because it could take all day. I get that there's a huge philosophical thing there. So here's what you do. You do one thing today, at least one thing that will move your business forward, that will help you reach your goals. Just one. If you do more, pound it. It's all right. A good fist bump to you. But I want you to focus on a minimum of doing at least one thing. And if you're really wanting to go for gold here, do one thing also in another area of your life to move it forward. So maybe your personal life, maybe your financial life, maybe it doesn't matter. But do one thing to move your business forward today. One thing that you know you should do. Get it done early and make sure you get it done. Even if you don't feel motivated to do it, just do it. The key here is to do that one thing that's going to move you forward because that momentum will naturally breed more motivation. And I work on it with my clients all the time when we work together intimately and I say, let's do this one thing, and they see the next week they have success like that, it automatically rolls them with more momentum. It motivates them to do the rest of the things that we talked about, the rest of the things on the list. And once you feel motivated, you'll just keep rolling. And not to put anyone on the spot here, but if you can think of that one thing that you're going to do today to create this momentum, drop it down in the comments down below. Keep yourself accountable for it. Just go ahead and put it in the comments, the one thing that you know you should do. Now here's an idea for you to get that one thing going if you're drawing a blank. And this is the practice building tip. It's something that I do in my coaching program for my clients. Have someone call your practice. It could be a best friend, could be your spouse, but have them pretend to be a new patient. And then also have them record the call if they can. And then listen to the recording and grade your staff person. Is your staff person friendly and welcoming? Are they professional? Do they sound boring? Do they sound rude? If so, address it. Have a quick training or a private conversation with that staff person. That way the staff, the way your staff handles that new patient calls can be dealt with because that obviously can make or break your referrals. It's something that I focus on quite a lot in my referral mastery course. Is doing these kind of audit calls. So if you can't think of one thing to do to move your practice forward today, give that one a try. It's not very hard. You don't need any fancy equipment. It doesn't really cost you a dime, and it doesn't take much energy. But it'll be just what you need to get the momentum moving forward. To hear that call, to know where you're making mistakes, and that becomes a problem too. Sometimes people hear that call and they get frustrated. They're like, wow, I know I've trained the staff on this. Sorry, sweat on my upper lip. I made the mistake of opening up my garage door just a little bit ago. I was doing a workout with the kids here. We just started this new speed workout, which I'm really, really excited about. And they were dripping sweat. It's very humid outside today, so I got a little bit myself. I did the workout with them, and it was tough. I've got to shrink it a little bit. Anyways, do that one thing. Don't get frustrated with the results. Realize that that's a learning opportunity. If you find mistakes in what your staff is doing, or if you find that they haven't been trained well, and so maybe it's your mistake, it's a chance to move forward. So use that momentum, fix something, which will improve your new patient conversion from calls to coming in the office, as well as from coming in the office to becoming patients. That little bit of momentum will motivate you to keep moving forward. Speaking of momentum, speaking of moving forward, if you are in what I would consider the Northeast, which I know some of it's the Midwest, but it's kind of how I set my regions apart. So it's basically Michigan, Indiana, and then everything to the right of that. And I know Michigan, Indiana would be considered, Ohio would be considered Midwest. But it's basically Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, Rhode Island. No, wait, there's more. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, all those areas. Also, West Virginia. We put that in the Northeast as well, just because it didn't fit in the other ones. That's a lot. But yes, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Seems like a big tour for me, doesn't it? I won't drive all those areas. I'm just covering all those areas. The next step of my tour is your chance to really get some momentum going for your practice. What do I mean by that? If you haven't followed it, you can get me into your practice to go through everything, sit down with you, look at your stats, do a tour of the office, identify your pain points and the areas of greatest opportunity for growth. And you'll end up with a strategic, step-by-step plan that's individualized to your practice. No cookie-cutter plans are available here. That's not what every other consultant gives you. That's not what you're getting from me. It's going to be very specific to you and to your practice. It's also been proven to work, and it's also guaranteed. Meaning, it's only $295. If you pay me $295, I come into your practice, I do this evaluation for you, I give you a strategic action plan, and you don't like it, or you don't think it's going to be what is going to help you grow your practice, I'll give you your $295 back, and I'll buy you a steak dinner. I've never had to buy a steak dinner, so I'm pretty confident it's not going to be the case, but why wouldn't you take advantage of that? You can't get better than that out there, Doc. So if you're in one of those states, I'll go through them again. Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Colorado, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. This is your shot to create insane momentum. So let's have a chat, either after the show, no, not today, maybe tomorrow, to go over your questions or concerns. That reminds me, I'm going to put a link in the comments down below that will take you to my scheduling page to pick what time is best for you. But I think it's scheduled for after my 7 a.m. show. I probably need to change the schedule to after the 9:30 a.m. show since that's when we're doing there. So, docs, let's do this. Do one thing today to move your practice forward, your personal life forward, your financial situation forward. Do that one thing. Get that momentum ball rolling. The motivation will continue to come. I promise you that. I'm looking forward to talking to each of you about what I can do for you to grow your practice further. And make sure that you're back tomorrow for some great content designed to make you more productive, also more motivated, and ready to rock your practice. 9:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, right here on the personal page. I'll see you tomorrow.